guys, welcome back to another video. Alright, so today I'm checking out Neca's Ultimate Pennywise from It, Chapter 2. Let's check it out. Alright, let's check out the box that Pennywise comes in for It Chapter 2, and look how creepy Pennywise looks right here. And you can see that similar expression right here on the sides of the box and right here on the top. Take a look at the bottom of the box. There's the number. Then flip it to the back side here and check out these new alternate heads that Pennywise comes with for Chapter 2. These look amazing, especially this one right here. I was excited for the Bill Skarsgård head. That looks awesome. It says down here that he comes with 4 interchangeable heads, 7 interchangeable hands, and a red balloon. Of course. And then open the flap and we can get a nice look at, without the reflection, at Pennywise right there from Chapter 2. There's all of his hands. Checking out his heads there. And look at that product shot. Awesome as usual. But that's enough of the box. Let's take them out. Alright, so here's Pennywise from It Chapter 2 out of the box. And I have all the extra heads, hands, and his balloon sitting right over here. But before we check them out, let's check out the backdrop. And this backdrop is made of the same thin cardboard as all the Ultimate figures, but this one's actually really cool. It looks like it's the picture of the Losers Club. But of course, it's the adult version of the Losers Club because Chapter 2 takes place 27 years after the events of Part 1. All right, so now let's get a close-up look of Pennywise from It Chapter 2 here, and he's supposed to have an all-new body for this release, and just eyeballing him and checking him out for the first time, I'm not so sure about that, because just eyeballing him right here based on my memory from all the other NECA Ultimate Pennywise figures that I have from the first one, because I have all of them from the first movie. It looks like his costume right here is exactly the same, just maybe a shade darker of gray, but I'm not 100% on that. Like I said, I'm just going by memory, but I do have the Ultimate Pennywise from Part 1 right here, and I'll be checking out side by side to see the differences a little later on in this video. But that being said, I really like this darker color on this new Pennywise. It has a sort of a silvery sheen to his whole body here. Maybe my lights will pick it up and you guys can see that. It looks great. And we have a nice shade of deep red right here on his little puffball fluffy things on the front of his torso. And everything seems to be made of hard molded plastic except for this little frilly thing that goes around his neck. Whatever these things are around his wrist, they seem a little softer rubber. And then his pantaloons right here, I think that's what they're called, pantaloons, but whatever they are, these fluffy shorts, they're made of soft rubber as well. And then these frilly things right around his ankles. But everything else seems to be made of hard plastic. But the gray on his costume seems to be all one note. It's just all the same color. The only color differences are the red puffy things right here in his torso, a little bit of red that goes around his belt here, that same red that outlines his shoulders right there. We have a little bit of that red around these little bracelets that go around his wrist. Then we have that same color around these ties that go around his calves, as you can see. But other than that, it's just one solid gray color. Let me give you a nice close-up of Pennywise's face, and as always, they do an excellent job on the detail. The sculpting on this in the forehead is exceptional. And check out the paint job in his eyes. I think they look fantastic. You got the red nose, the red around the lips, and then the makeup that comes from his mouth all the way up to his eyes. I think this head sculpt and the paint job is phenomenal. Now let's check out the sculpt on his hair here. Of course, his hair looks a little bit different from the other Pennywises from Part 1. You can see how it just scoops up right there from the bottom. And it's a brownish red shade. It looks sort of like a rust color for the color of his hair. And I've talked about the detailing in the sculpt on his body 1,000 times before, and this one's no different. That's why I'm saying it looks exactly the same as the other offerings from NECA for these Pennywise figures, especially these little laces right here in the back look exactly the same. I can't wait to check it out side by side with one of the other ones because I haven't done that yet. I'll be doing that for the first time on camera right here. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's talk about his articulation. All right, let's take off his head here and see what his head's sitting on. So it looks like it's just on a standard straight ball peg, and his neck here has a little bit of articulation. So we have the neck, and then we have the ball with the peg sitting right inside of it. So his head should have a decent amount of movement in it. Let's get his head back on. So of course, with that peg, we can spin his head all the way around. We can get some really nice head tilt movement out of it, and let's look up. Not so great because it's being stopped by this frilly neck piece that he has on. But if he wasn't wearing that, I bet you we can get his head to look all the way up. Well, we almost can. And then looking down, it fares a lot better. Now, Pennywise's range of movement has never been the best, especially in his shoulders, because of just the way the character is built with these big puffy shoulders. So if I try to get his shoulders pointed straight out, that's about the best I can do right there. Let's see if we can get a nice spin all the way around. Absolutely. And as you can see right there, we do have a nice double jointed elbow. So we have excellent movement in his elbow. And usually when we have that double jointed elbow, we have that nice forearm articulation where we can spin it all the way around, as you can see. And yes, we do have a hinge in his wrist, but once again, just based on his costume alone, it's restricting a lot of the movement. But obviously we can spin his hands all the way around. There's no upper torso articulation, but we do have some articulation at the waist here. So looks like he's on a ball joint at the waist. We can get a nice spin all the way around and a nice little swivel movement back and forth, as you can see. All right, now let's talk about his legs here. Can we do a split? Oh, hell no. These pantaloon things are restricting a lot of the movement left and right. And let's see if we can get a split out of them the other way, and we're gonna have the same problem. Check that out. But I'm sure if he wasn't wearing these goofy ass shorts, we can get a nice split out of them both ways. Checking out his knees, they are double jointed, so of course we're gonna get a nice bend out of his knees, and he's very stiff right out of the box, but check that out. And once again, because his knees are double jointed, we're gonna be able to spin his lower leg all the way around 360. Now what about his boots? Can we do that with his boots? Not a shot. Looks like we just have that ankle rocker that makes his feet look super weird when we spin it. So I can spin it that way, and then spinning it the other way, it looks like he's just breaking his foot right off. But we can point his toe up to about that point, and it looks like it's much better pointing down. And looking at the bottom of his feet, we do have some standard peg holes just in case your figures are a little stiff and you're having problems standing him up, which I'm not really having that hard of a time standing him up. There you go. All right, that's enough of his articulation. Let's talk accessories. All right, let's start out with his iconic standard red balloon. And yes, this is the same red balloon that you're gonna see with every single Ultimate Pennywise, at least from Neca. It's just a hard molded red plastic balloon here, and it's on a wire. So of course we can bend that wire any way we want to, but I've always had the hardest time getting this wire to stand straight up while it's in his hand. All right, next let's go over his second alternate head, and it's this just evil grin Pennywise. Look at that mug. And if I get in real close, you can see the nice detail on those teeth right there with that super creepy look. And look what happens if I tilt his head down a little bit. Yeah, that's it right there. Same nice detail on his forehead, same nice paint job on his face, and his hair has some nice detail on it. It's not exact, it looks a lot more messy than the version that it comes with right out of the box. Check that out. And then from the front here, he looks nice and groomed, like he's about to go to a dinner party right there. And this one, going out partying on a Friday night. And now let's take a look at the third alternate head. And I don't have to tell you what's so unique about this one, do I? I mean, look at that Gene Simmons tongue. It just sticks right out. I mean, realistically, that's probably about a ½ inch long. And I love the detail and the paint job on that tongue. You can see a bunch of different color shades in there. It wasn't just paint it pink and that's it. They did an excellent job on that tongue. And here we have his eyes looking up, so it's another one of those deals where if I tilt his head a little bit where he's looking up, it just looks awesome. So far I'm really loving these alternate heads on this brand new Chapter 2 Pennywise. And his last alternate head here, of course, this is the Bill Skarsgård head, the one that I was most excited about. And this one looks absolutely gruesome. Look at that paint job on the red that comes out of his mouth. I love it. it. Now, I don't know if this is movie accurate or not, so what I'll do is I'll move this over to the side as so, and right over here, I'll throw up a picture, if I can find one online, of the actual scene where Bill Skarsgård just went without his Pennywise makeup on. And we'll see if it looks accurate to what Neca did right here. But even so, I absolutely love the expression on Bill Skarsgård's face here. This looks awesome. And take a look at the back of his head. Nice paint job on his hair, not just all one color. I like it. All right, let's talk about his alternate hands here. And here are two of them that are open palm, exactly the same left and right. And he's making that stop in the name of love motion with these hands here. And if I get in close, you can see some of the detail on the back of his gloves there. They actually look really cool. They're just painted pure white, no detail at all with the paint job, but the actual sculpt, it's pretty decent. In his next hand here, he's making the OK symbol with the little hole right there. And that little hole is supposed to be for the red balloon. You almost have to hollow out that hole just to make it a little bit bigger so these fit better. All right, his last two hands are identical, one for the left and one for the right. And you can see he's making this weird little pinchy motion with his hands here. I'm not sure what's going on with this one. But here's a close-up of his left hand here. He's making that same pinchy motion, and the one for his right hand here, exactly the same, just on opposite hands. And they all have the same nice detail on the back of his hand there. I like it. All right, so here's a new Neca Pennywise from Chapter 2, and here's the ultimate Pennywise from It Chapter 1. And as I thought, looking at them side by side, this one is much darker than the one from Part 1. But studying them closer, you can see right here, that little puffball, it's up above his belt here, and the first ultimate Pennywise, it's on his belt. So that's really interesting, and everything else, it looks to be exactly identical. Even down to the fluffy things around his boots right here. Look, they're the exact same sculpt. This thing around his neck is visibly different. This one right here has bigger ruffles. This one right here is more matted down. And you can see that a lot better when I turn it around to the back side there. Check that out. And another thing I noticed on the back here is his torso is a lot longer. So you can see we have a lot longer of a back right here till we get to his belt, as opposed to the shorter back right here. It looks like he just has his pants or his belt pulled up a little higher than the version in Chapter 2. So I guess technically they were right. This is a brand new body for Chapter 2, but overall it looks like just the same sculpt with a couple little pieces interchanged here and there. And a different paint job, of course. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think of Neca's ultimate Pennywise from It Chapter 2. Overall, I really like the look of this new figure. I'm not really impressed with the accessories that he comes with. I mean, it's just a balloon and 7 hands. But I absolutely love the alternate heads that the Chapter 2 Pennywise comes with. In fact, all together as a group, I think these are the best heads that you can get on an ultimate Pennywise. Especially the one with the tongue and the Bill Skarsgård head. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And if you guys want to check him out for yourself, I will leave links below in my description box to where I picked him up. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe. And go!